Welcome back, ballroom dance friends. Today's topic is hero worship in the world of ballroom dance. I'm not referencing idolizing from afar. We have all done that. But I'm talking today about putting your instructor, your coach, on this pedestal. And it's something I see a lot of. I've witnessed it over the years. And let's just come out of the chute here. It is an illusion that your coach is God's gift to ballroom and Latin dancing. Okay? For the record, there is no coach on the planet that is going to be the very best teacher for you in every single way, in every single dance, in every single pattern. Okay, in every figure. In my opinion, in my experience, one of the things many things I learned from my own coaches, and I respect and value in my own primary coaches, who at that time were number 2 in the world, were that they always recognize that there's someone out there that could give you a solution to whatever challenge I was having in my dancing that might work better than what they're teaching. Because ultimately we are different bodies, and what's going to work for me and my partner is not going to be probably identical to what works for my coach and their partner. And likewise, even if we mechanically are the exact same body, which is not possible, intellectually, we are engineered differently. Some of us are verbal, some of us are visual, some of us learn by feel. And every coach kind of has their own unique approach to instruction. Now, certainly the benefit of an experienced coach is they likely, especially if they continue to teach over a long period of time, have somewhat mastered how to communicate information in those different ways to hit your sweet spot so you learn the fastest. But if your coach is coming at you with, well, don't take with anyone else, I'm better than them, everyone else is horrible, you know what, guys, run the other way. They are, in my opinion, saying this to pad their own pocketbook. As a matter of fact, I had several pros in my own studio who threw a fit every time I wanted to bring in a visiting coach that was a US finalist, a world finalist. I said, well, I don't want my students to see there's someone better than me. This is cray-cray to me. Why would I not want my students to see that there's better than me? Because I want them to get to that level. My dream is if a student outgrows me. That's the Grandmaster Eva plan. And I'm hoping it is for you too. You probably don't want to be your teacher's pet, so to speak. I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing in itself, but you don't want to be the teacher's pet at the expense of your own dance sport progress. Okay, guys. Now, this does not apply to social dance teachers. It really doesn't matter, honestly, in my opinion, how fast you learn if you're just into social dancing. So if you're a social dancer, hey, scrap what I'm saying. However, if you are a competitor and you are aiming to be the best you can be open to information from other professionals. I'm not saying they're better than your pro, okay? I'm just saying that maybe in this one particular thing, they might be able to teach you something that your own coaches just quite hadn't hit the spot. And I sometimes see that. My students will see a visiting coach and they'll come back and I'll be like, oh, finally you're doing this. They said it in a way that made sense. Yay. That's exciting. And if you do pro-am and you get the information from another pro, who cares? You're going to make your pro look like a better teacher on the floor. Like, I really feel this benefits you and this benefits your coach. I've also seen, as you know, I used to own the largest ballroom dance studio in the United States. Teachers, pro-am teachers, I only saw it with men, but you know what? I'm sure this happens with ladies too. I can just share from my personal observations, who I've known, tell their students, well, you're my partner, and it's going to hurt your dancing to dance with any other pro or any amateur man or going to a social dance. I'm sorry, guys, but I smell dog poop there. This is not true. And this is someone, in my opinion, that is going to hold you back from reaching your potential so they can make another dime off of you. Because obviously, if you spend money, even at a social dance or with another teacher on private, lessons, even just a visiting coach, that's money that you can't spend on them. I don't think there's anyone on the planet that truly has bottomless pockets, okay? And so I just would definitely hear alarm bells if you hear your teacher saying something like that or talking trash about everyone else in the town, everyone else in the country. I've taken from a pro like that myself very, 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 very early on in my career before I started taking from accomplished pros who had something horrible to say about everyone and everything about all those dancers in the US final, the world final. And this person, he couldn't dance his way out of a paper bag, okay? He's saying that to puff and toot his own horn. And then when I very first started flying out for visiting coaching, he's like, well, why would you take with them when you can take with me? And of course, looking back, because it's a more accomplished, better pro than you are, teaching better students. So, these things do happen. Now, most professionals are extremely ethical and absolutely looking out for your best interest long-term, but I'm here to share with you the complete picture and not just a tiny little slice. The vast majority are great, but there is a slice of bad eggs, okay? Any barrel of apples is going to have one rotten one in the bunch, okay? And I sure hope for you that that's not yours. But if it is, hey, I'm giving you the tools to know what to look for, okay? Now, sometimes you're going to take with a coach and they completely say something that's in contradiction to what your own coach says. Honestly, it does not mean your coach is wrong. They might be focusing on just something totally different and they're just trying to get a net result out of you. I'll teach one couple, oh, you need massive pendulum swing in that step. I'll teach the other couple, no, you got to do metronomic swing, although that's not what the book says. Just because they're doing too much of one. And I'll say overcorrect just to get to the sweet spot. I'm going to use words that might be even in conflict with the ICD book, not because I don't know the book, but because I'm just trying to get a net result out of you. That's the best for you, okay? In my opinion, also, the coaches and studios who invest the time and money into flying in visiting coaches are amazing. Props to them. When I did this, it cost money out of my pocket every time. It's quite expensive to wine and dine them. You got to pay for their hotel. You got to pay for their flights. You got to get them back and forth to the airport. You have a minimum per day booking. When I would have people blow off their lessons and cancel last second, I had to pay for those. And I lost my shirt every time. I did it because it was in the best interest of my students. So if your pro or your studio flies in a visiting coach, ask your pro, do you think it's a good idea to take with them? If they say no every time, probably a bad sign. But sometimes at least they're going to say yes, and they're not trying to empty your purse. They really think, okay, well, this person can be a help to my student, okay? Because I did wonder coming out of the shoot, are they just bringing in people to make more money? And of course, as soon as I opened my own studio and flew people in, I was like, whoa! And set aside the financial investment that studio or pro makes. It's a huge time commitment because I have to cart that person around to every meal. I have no personal time. And although we love ballroom dancing, we love the coaches we fly in, they're inevitably our friends. We need personal time just like you do, okay? Need a little decompression time, need a little personal time, gotta drive my kid back and forth to school, cook dinner. We all have personal lives and we really have to throw that in the garbage while we have someone in town. I'm not complaining. I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to. But definitely take advantage if your coach suggests that. They're not trying to take advantage of you, okay, guys? Now, finally, a couple of my favorite pros, personal story, were not as accomplished as I was. And, my friends and even my own coaches were like, why are you taking with them? You could coach them. Not that they weren't trained dancers, but some of them were much more accomplished in Latin than standard, or one of them with theater arts compared to standard. Actually, two of them, theater arts. But in my case, I learned from them. They said things in a way that made sense. They explained things in methods that were just very different than my own coaches, in a way that was complementary, that I got results afterwards that were amazing and long-term. Okay. And that's really what matters. And not that my coaches weren't supportive, but obviously they're kind of surprised out of the chute, like, oh, why would you take with them? They're world Latin champions. Well, this is what I'm getting from them. And they were absolutely supportive of that. And so, if someone comes to town, hey, give them a shot. I would say the only exception is, for example, like Nadia Eftedal came to town and I tried to sign up, but she said, oh, I don't teach standard at all. These things happen. That's okay. I think it was Nadia Eftedal. Anyway, so if they just do not teach the style that you compete in, okay, at that point, I probably wouldn't spend the money unless I had a lot of extra money. But if they do teach your style, hey, give it a shot. It might be magical, okay? So I hope that's been interesting and helpful. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you've had good or bad experiences with visiting coaches, hey, share a story. I'd love to hear it. And I look forward to seeing you in the morning. If you enjoy all things ballroom dance, hey, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed or found today's video helpful, please hit the like button. And if you have questions, please ask in the comments, because I only really am interested in sharing things here that are of cultural interest to you. So thanks for joining me. Happy dancing.